So with the overhand Hubud, first you just have the shell. Yes.
Which engagement are you
See, this is the thing. Nobody knows. Everybody says the same thing. What do you mean overhand?
Right.
There's only one. It's like, there's overhand. There's underhand.
Right. Now, is that in reference to wedges or the
No, I'll show
initial
you. So, so this is overhand, like this, and so we have the three movements: the raise, the slap, and then the hip. And so this is done with a chop.
an angular strike,
Yes.
right?
Yeah. Okay. So this is the first shell that person does from
This is the first shell?
the movements, the series of movements that we're doing.
It's a shell. I got you.
It's a shell because there's no athleticism, there's no realism. Right. And then from overhand Hubud, this, you switch and you feel backhand, and now you go to left hand.
That's a beautiful change. That's what I wanted to ask you, was different changeovers, because I'm kind of limited on the changeovers.
So you feel backhand, and then you go left side, snap, and back to your side. So you feed backhand, not hand, feed a backhand, and then you go left side and you grab, and then you go slap, and now you go to that side. And so that's how you do it. So instead of feeding a forehand, you feed a backhand.
So I feed the back,
And you grab, and then you slap, and now you feed forehand. So this is overhand. The second one is called twisting Hubud. So it's a different okay. So first overhand is this. So the idea is that you have a knife.
right.
So this is the overhand. Then the change the backhand.
Backhand, here, slap, hip. Okay. That's a totally awesome change. That's what I wanted some different changeovers. I only know like two.
So first we start with overhand, and then we switch to feed the backhand. Going from right side to left side. Overhand, backhand. Then you do overhand from the outside. So we just did one side here. We did this. Now we do this.
Okay.
So overhand, not a punch, not a punch.
Not a punch. Okay, so what do I do?
Sit up, okay. So this is how Hubud is taught first. Then later they add the disarms. So it's overhand because it's an overhand confidence.
I see.
Now so we add the inside. Why go inside? Because sometimes you add this to sometimes you raise, other times you pass.
Okay, so I go here and then where am I going after that? And then you
Yes, back over.
oh, here. You have three. You have the overhand, you have the backhand, and you have
No, the backhand is just a trick. Here's the idea. What happens is, right now everything is defined and contained. Later, nothing is defined and nothing is contained.
can be any punch, any changeover, any count, 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever.
Because the goal is to be the first one to get the finger.
That's why it was nice, and it forces me to keep that guilt by
So that's what people
If I
miss
don't
about
do
it.
that,
They say
if
nobody
I
fights
feel
like
like
that.
I'm
And I say, yeah, because
I just tell myself.
clinch work. So as you and I can do clinch work.
That's an eye.
This is the eye. This is like Chisa. So as I learn how to protect my eyes from you being able to get your eyes, I'm learning how to get around and get my fingers in your eyes.
Right. And we all know how effective that is. Like, yeah, and it fights, it fights over. There he is.
Yep. And so you got overhand Hubud from the inside. Overhand Hubud from the outside.
Okay.
So the only difference is this is overhand Hubud from the inside.
Yeah, me too.
This is overhand Hubud from the outside.
It's very inside overhand.
Hello.
Gotcha. Watch feet here. Okay. Overhand,
Inside, overhand, outside.
outside. Overhand, inside. Okay.
Oh, you shush. Shush.
Change over we did was a backhand, a lob style, a slap, and a hit.
Rocky's not sure yet.
Yes. Wow, that angle throws me off. That's awesome. That's totally different.
So race socks.
Okay. Do you ever go to the inside on that? Do you go inside 3 counts?
Or that's punching Hubud.
Oh,
There's overhand Hubud, punching Hubud, elbow Hubud.
overhand Hubud, punching Hubud, elbow Hubud.
Right, and underhand Hubud.
Okay, it's like uppercut.
Yeah, so it's as uppercut or
Okay, it's almost like what's that drill called? It's a nice little drill.
Once I started, like I said, once I started turning and flattening that foot out, they felt a lot better for me. I'm sure they didn't feel better for you though.
Yes.
Like, you have to hold it kind of like, it's just like snapping and cutting right through it.
Yeah, because I was doing them up, like you said, I was lifting that heel, and so I was going up at a 45 like this instead of coming across and cutting through.
Yeah.
So, how do you train that? Exactly.
And then knees back. So if I go, okay.
So they're contained first, they're defined,
Yes.
but then after a while,
The
you.
drill opens up.
Yes.
Right. We learned
Still got some coffee
keep
stashed in the back for me?
checked hand,
I got 20 bucks for you.
disengaging and going back to becoming a checking hand. And bring our mate perhaps trapped hand back to a defensive position.
And then you add switching leads.
Right, yeah, and that changeover you did that. The changeovers that I'm familiar with is just punching into emptiness or the 5 count. Like if you guys punching that double slap, that's the one that I usually do. And I wanted something new. That's kind of why I wanted to do this. Because I'm always doing the 5 count changeover or just a hit to another hit with an insertion shot or whatever. But I still don't have a bunch of changeovers. And I know there's more.
Here's the thing though, nobody teaches the progression. That's what I'm trying to teach you, the progression. So you got the 4 Hubuds, you got the overhand Hubud, the underhand Hubud, you got the double Hubud, and then punching Hubud. Right. Then you add to that the changes, right side by side, right? Then you add to that, and this is where I differ from everybody else, you add the punch.
He's not like
Right.
completely technique type. Unless
Oh, I
he's
know.
like tired and ready.
Overhand
Otherwise,
Hubud.
he's like,
So as you do this now, you lean into me and I lean into you. So it's not like you're not leaning into me. That's it. So the idea is now there becomes the right hand becomes what you use. Yes.
That is sick.
but like, where's it from?
That's a gorgeous frame.
Because from this comes the Dumont and all the other things.
Right, and put a pressure in you.
So sometimes I do the pressure with the left arm,
Right.
other times it's with the right arm. Whether I go inside or whether I go outside. And whether I change to underneath. Yes. Yes.
Oh, and I should be.
Oily too, I like.
Just the feet.
Right, and when you go underneath, you shove with the shoulder in the way.
Which gets us in that closer.
My wife loves it, I'm like, hey,
And then there's the elbow. Okay?
I'll buy one tomorrow for her birthday. I'll buy you one tomorrow.
Nice. I like that, that open, what the heck is that?
I told her this summer, like, cause I wanted like,
So,
I lost passport, she was all mad.
you got the drills, you got changing
Together they were like $900. I'm like, this
this
is
side,
Christmas and birthday.
then you've got
and
stopping the
anniversary.
drill.
Oh, okay, this gifts and what- I'm like, you're not allowed
And
to
now I
do
wait
it.
for you to do something, and I go back to the
Your
drill.
bad passport, too. She's pretty good, like,
I don't know that
The
one.
only reason I started is I ordered one of these drones and it fell through. I ended up getting my money back, but it was expensive, and then
Nice.
I.
That's the
did-
realism
she
of
asked me how much
Hubud
I
is
paid for
being
my
able
shot, and I
to
told her I'm not-
clear a path and get to the eyes, get to the nose, get to the throat, get to the
It was
groin.
$95
Right.
shot.
It's not being distracted by that range and that trap, it's getting past that, through that into the target.
I don't know, I don't
Right.
know online banking and carry it. So
Yeah,
she's-
it almost, once you get good at it, you can almost dissolve it, and your trapping almost becomes like invisible. when
You know,
That's awesome.
Yeah, so it's almost imperceptible to the naked eye or the outside perspective. Right. And so from there, from the pressure, only then do I add technique.
Say
From
what?
pressure,
No, it'll be good, it'll be good.
That's right, that's funny. That's
only
funny.
then, yeah.
Have you
First, we did the
Like, you know,
shove.
on camera, should have seen that.
Overhand, underhand, elbow punching, those are just, that's just the shove. It's just movement, there's no pressure. Right. Now, you start to add, other movements of changing sides, right side and left side. Right, still movements. Still movements. Right, no pressure yet. 3, you add pressure. Right. Where now, I'm shoving into you, and sometimes you're giving, other times you change the angle, and then you shove back into me. And would that be number 4, the technique now? No, next you do the technique. Right. Technique should always be done, I think, from positioning plus pressure, then technique.
I buy a
Positioning,
lot of stuff at 2 to 3.
pressure, then
So you're bored?
That makes
But
perfect sense.
I didn't buy any.
If you just start out with technique, what's the context?
Like groceries from
Yeah.
laws and do that.
So, it's
Oh, you see that, you're like,
from,
yeah,
as we
that
do
makes sense.
overhand
That's
Hubud,
something
and we're doing pressure, I push into you, and you change the angle, you press into me, I feel you push into me, there's my arm wrench. Yes, I decide I'm gonna change sides, I do arm wrench on the other side. I decide, you know what, I'm gonna do a trap. So when we've got the movements sped up a little bit and we've got some pressure, it gets chaotic, and now from the chaos, you find an arm wrench, you find an eye poke, you find an elbow. It's chaos, but still sensitive to that chaos, right? Right, so it's chaos to the other person who doesn't know, right?
Like I just ordered 100.
That pressure changes though. As soon as you
550
put
get
that
50
on,
free. I was like, those would be sweet the whole time.
I collapse, or I start
That's the idea.
pushing
I'll
back,
just go
which
when
gives you what you
coming down,
want.
get some people on the chair, let them
I had a Golden Gloves boxer challenge me on this
We've done it
track.
before, we played hot
Typing
potato with one.
stuff work, I don't really think it works. I'm like, well, yeah, it does.
Well, you guys
Sometimes
have
to
a
change
wonderful weekend.
what's going on. So, well, can you show me?
Yeah.
This is at the end of a jiu-jitsu seminar with a gi.
Oh,
It's
Was
like,
it
well,
fun?
we really don't have
Oh.
any gloves or anything. Well, I brought my gloves with me.
of course you did.
Later I found out, yeah, I'm a
Yeah,
Golden Gloves
yeah.
boxing guy.
Yeah.
So, like, yeah, sure. So, we'll show me.
Yeah.
So I'm like, so we, like, okay, I don't have any gloves, but, okay. Cause when I hit you, I'm gonna hit your chest. When I hit you in the face. Yeah, so we moved around, and first couple of times, he caught me. I was kinda like, oh, those guys.
Good skill, yeah.
Yeah, he was good.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, okay, I need to go into calling mode. So as we go back and forth, like
Yeah.
this,
Yeah, nice. Oh, now he doesn't wanna punch so much.
Mhm.
Yeah.
and he didn't, it's kinda like, what was that? It's like, yeah.
You don't need to
it's
know.
very- Yes.
Throw another
And,
punch.
Yes, and so as we're going back and forth, then this was my trap.
Nice, double outside,
Yeah,
nice, yes.
I went outside and I went crack.
Yeah, let him know, there's a real shot there. Yeah,
And,
that's trapping.
so, then I ended up making another entry like this, and then he tried to push me. I went arm wrench.
Good dealer knows that.
Did you hit him with it?
Yeah, I hit him with
You
it.
let him know it's,
Yes,
yeah.
Yes.
Did it hurt him a bit?
Just a little
Good,
bit, but he was
good.
tough, he was
Yeah.
tough, we kept going,
Yeah.
same thing, we did that same, push.
Yeah.
I went here,
Yeah.
this, and then I went on his glove like this.
Yeah,
And it's like, come on, keep going.
yeah.
And then same thing, I made that same entry, and then I shoved and went,
Oh.
okay.
That's awesome, cause it's trapping.
Yes.
It's, you're using the traps to set up real strikes.
Yeah. And so he said, I never seen anything like this on the DVDs and the stuff that's out there. It's like, well, this is my trapping, this is my functional trapping. And I did my trapping. I went to, like many people, I went to a boxing gym and I did this, and I tried to do this against the amateur boxers, and I got my clock clean.
Right.
And I discovered that, there's a lot of wheel chun that I have to throw out, but there are certain movements like the fuk sao and the bong sao and the jet sao that work really well for all the lines of boxing. And so I know that when I touch balls with people, we start to move around. I crash. I developed something that I call the crash.
Right.
Crash to me equals double jet sao.
Yes. I use that all the time now. Yes.
Yeah.
Because I built a cage at my gym. I got a half cage. About a year and a half ago. So now we're able to do a lot more of that. So we're bridging the gap more and getting into that. That's one of the things that I like to do now. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, Hubud, the shell starts it. So inside overhand, outside overhand, punching Hubud, elbow Hubud, underhand Hubud. So that's the shell.
Right.
Now from the shell, you add pressure where you now start to push and drive into the person, or as they start to push and drive into you, you pivot step. Right. This will start to lead into the Dumont, where you actually start to push and pull into them to create openings. Then with the shell, the positioning of your body and the pressure, now you add techniques like an eye poke, a headbutt, a knee, an arm wrench, a wrist lock, a finger lock, a double leg takedown, ogoshi. You add all the techniques from that chaos.
Right. Yes.
And when you spin rounds doing nothing but in here, and I add the pummeling from wrestling.
Right.
So we pummel on the neck.
Yep.
Pummel on the biceps.
Yep.
Pummel under the arm.
Right.
And then pummel on the wrist.
Nice. Right.
And then we go back to Hubud. Perfect. Yes. And then I make that same entry.
Right. Oh, that's awesome. I love that. Okay, so you said, was it position, then pressure, then technique? Yeah, gotcha. Okay, I love that. That's a beautiful, tactical flow. I love that. It's a principle. It's a rule.
And so that's a training method that I use for people who have experience. That's the great
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah.
Sorry, you use that as a, what you say?
I use that as a training progression, a training method for people who have experience.
Right.
People who don't have experience, when I teach them the basics, first I try and teach them the fundamentals. This is your stance. This is your step and slide footwork. This is your pivot step. This is your shuffle step. So you got all the fundamentals, and they do the fundamentals without thinking about them. Now, I want you to show you some basic techniques. Basics to me are, how do you do a kick? How do you do a punch? How do you do a throw? How do you do an arm lock? How do you do an escape? Now that you know how to do this, I'm going to show you, we're going to review your positioning. When you throw that jab, we talked about positioning here, but I want you to get in the habit of, I want you to throw the jab here, I want you to throw the jab here for this reason. You position yourself and you give the person, you just don't put the jab up. You give that jab some pressure. So this is a jab that's used to set up the kick. So instead of me doing jab here, I do this jab. Why? Because it's the easiest jab to do. Because there's a triangle, put your hands up please. See this triangle?
Yes, sir.
Formed by your hands and your elbows. The narrower it gets towards the top, the harder it is for me to hit your face. That's why it's hard to hit people in the face. It's very easy to hit people at the bottom of their chest or the middle of their chest.
Right. That's awesome.
When I shove you, I know you're going to take a step.
Yeah.
And while you're taking a step, I kick your leg.
Right. I'm off balance.
Yes.
pressure. You're adding pressure to your technique. Or to your position. Right. Right, you're doing the same thing you're doing with grappling, you're doing with striking. I like that bottom of the triangle, that's so awesome. Yeah, and when you say it, it's so common sense, but it's like, it's gotta make the connection, that's awesome. Okay. Cool, thank you, sir. Sure, you appreciate it, welcome. When are you back next?
I usually come here spring and fall,
Okay.
but next year I may come spring and summer.
Right now, I was hoping to do pre-test, eventually get down to the banquet one way or the other. It's all good.
Okay.
Yeah, whatever works, I just hoping I could get that out of the way before, or if whatever you do.
Okay, let's, I trust where you're at, you can turn your phone on if you want to save some battery life.
Yes, thank you.